Have a day, Trevor Story. He hits 3 home runs as the Red Sox beat the Seattle Mariners in Game 1, 12-6. What is up, Locked On Red Sox? I'm your host, Massachusetts Pirates team insider Jake Ignaszewski, and I'll be riding solo today. But I greatly appreciate everybody making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. This is episode 501, so buckle up. We're going to be having a lot of fun today. The Red Sox have a 2-game winning streak rolling. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
No joke. There's sometimes where when that music happens, I'm just back here dancing. And for the people on video, you're probably like, I wonder what Jake looks like dancing. And for the people who are listening, they're like, I just hear this kid's voice, so I have no clue. What's up, Locked On Red Sox? As you can see, having a lot of fun today. The Sox win 2 games in a row. When the vibes are high with the boys, we have a lot of fun on this podcast. And it didn't start off great. Rich Hill did not look good to start the game. Only pitched 2 innings, allowing a 3-run home run to Dylan Moore. Then we saw Ty France hit an RBI double to give the Mariners 4 runs to start the game. Rich Hill ultimately allowing 6 hits with 1 walk, as I mentioned, 4 earned runs, only striking out 2. Then we saw Tanner Houck come in and have a little bit of audition of why he should be in this Red Sox rotation. Pitching 4 innings, only allowing 1 hit, striking out 6, and only walking 1 batter. Really looked good. I mean, it's really nice to be able to have somebody like Tanner Houck who can go that distance, and hopefully he can start to go on a roll, really start to be able to pitch well when the Red Sox really need it, and come in when, guys like Rich Hill or somebody else in the bullpen, like we saw Nathan Eovaldi a few days ago, kind of blows up. Really nice to see the Red Sox pitching doing well in the later half. Sawamura ended up loading the bases in the 8th. Scared me a little bit. Matt Strahm ended up coming in to get out of the jam, and Ryan Brazier came in for the 9th. I was getting a little bit excited, struck out the first guy. I'm like, this could be a smooth appearance by Ryan Brazier. If you're a longtime listener to this Locked On Red Sox podcast, you'll know Lauren and I get very frustrated with Ryan Brazier, especially when he's put in, pivotal situations. Luckily, it was a 12-5 game. It wasn't a close game by any means. He ended up, during the second batter he faced, who's Julio Rodriguez, the rookie for the Mariners, ended up smoking a ball over the monster. And then, as we saw, really got a next 2 smooth outs after that. But Red Sox offense was fluid this entire game. They scored multiple times throughout this game. As you could see, obviously it was 12-6. But looking at what they were able to do, score 2 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the 6th, 3 runs in the 7th, and 3 in the 8th. So ultimately 6 hits overall for this Red Sox offense. JD Martinez continuing his hot streaks, 4 for 5 so far in this game. And something that was talked about a lot on Twitter tonight and over the last few days is the leaderboard of batting average in the major leagues right now. We have 3 hitters, of the best hitters in this Red Sox lineup on that leaderboard. JD Martinez coming in 4th, batting .344. Rafael Devers batting 6th, ranked 6th, batting .335. Xander Bogaerts ranked 7th, hitting .331. So it's really nice to see this Red Sox offense coming back to form, exactly sort of what we expected from this team at the start of the season. And also, like you heard me mention in the opening, Trevor Story, 3 home run game, ended up also getting a stolen base, in 7 total RBIs tonight. They did mention on the broadcast that this is his second time during his career driving in 7 RBIs. Looking at what he's done over his last 7 games, batting .333 with 4 home runs and 9 total RBIs. That's something that you really like to see from a guy who struggled early so far this season. Still has a little bit of a low batting average, but he's getting hot right when the Red Sox need it. It's always nice when you have, like I just mentioned, 3 of your hitters at the top of the batting average ranking in the major leagues, and you start to get one of your other superstars in that lineup rolling. Then we also saw Alex Verdugo had a great game, batting 3 for 6. Really nice to see everything coming together for this Red Sox team in this great win against the Mariners. To be honest, got a little bit nervous to start the game. It was 4-0. Sox ended up finding a way to come back. It was really nice to be able to have confidence in this Red Sox offense throughout this game. And, you heard it a little bit inside on Twitter. People were having fun. It was a lot of fun to watch the Red Sox tonight. That's always great. I mean, that's why we watch sports, right? It's supposed to be fun. We're not supposed to want to jump out of a window or whatever from sports. And the Red Sox have sort of made it difficult to watch some of these games so far in April and May. But in May, it's been looking good over the last week. As I said, 2 days ago, can't get too excited, but we got to have fun with it. We got to have fun. Lastly, on game 1 against the Mariners, what a catch by JBJ to end the game. He's somebody else who really is starting to look a lot better at the plate. Did very well tonight, was 1 for 3, ended up driving in 2 RBIs. So we got to keep on seeing some of these guys at the bottom of the order as well, like Vasquez, Dalbec. We need to start to see them. Kike Hernandez too. Those 3 guys really need to step it up. If those guys start rolling, same with JBJ, like we could just get JBJ up to like batting at 230, 240. We're able to really compete with a Yankees team that is red hot right now. And, it's really tough to, as a Red Sox fan, you don't want to see the Yankees doing as well as they're doing. So, we got a lot to compete with. Luckily, the Blue Jays haven't fully met expectations or really come too close so far this season. So Red Sox are rolling at the right time, perfect timing. And, going into game 2, going to be very interested to see what happens. Michael Wacha, in my opinion, the best Red Sox pitcher in this rotation so far. Can't believe I'm saying that. I'm somebody, and I'll talk more about this in the second segment, who really sort of doubted Michael Wacha, especially after the signing, right after it happened. I didn't really have too much confidence in him. I even said that, paying him $7 million a year was sort of a waste of money. But, I'm wrong sometimes. Not a lot of people believed in this guy. Nobody really expected to see him have an ERA of 138 here talking on May 19th, going into May 20th. He's facing Robbie Ray, won the AL Cy Young last season. Not really the same pitcher that he was last year with the Blue Jays whatsoever. Has a 4-3 record, sporting an ERA of 4.62, and we saw him get a little bit roughed up against the Mets. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in our second segment of the Locked On Red Sox podcast. But I'm just going to take a second to talk to you about Built Bar. So I don't know about you, but I love brownies. And do you know what I love more? Brownie batter. I don't know if you do this sometimes, but sometimes I just eat half of the batter and don't even really make the brownies. But imagine if you could sort of lick that brownie batter on the spatula and sort of have it with a little bit of protein inside as well. Well, you're in luck because Built Bar has created a new creation that is even better than their last one, which was what we talked about, a week ago with the birthday cake puffs. They now have brownie batter puff. You are in luck that these puffs also have tons of protein in them, and they bring protein bars to a new level. And this is something that is going to be able to help you really get to where you want to be in your health journey. Looking at sort of the nutritional facts, only 140 calories with 17 grams of protein, only 7 grams of sugar. This brownie batter is the perfect fix if you're hungry during the day to build up your appetite. It's covered in 100% real chocolate, and that means with Built that you can eat healthy and enjoy it as well. So with the brownie batter pups, you're completely forgetting that you're even eating a protein bar. And now this is the real kick. Go to builtbar.com, get your brownie puffs now, and use the promo code locked on 15, get 15% off your order. That's right. Use the promo code LOCK15 for 15% off your order. And as always, we greatly appreciate you making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. And make your second listen Locked On Now podcast. They recap MLB games with analysis from our local experts, taking fans through the season like no other network. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. So looking at this game too against the Mariners, as the Sox are on a little bit of a roll, they're putting their faith into Michael Wacha, who, as I said last segment, has been one of the most reliable and consistent pitchers for this Red Sox rotation so far. Just came back from an injury. He had a little bit of left side soreness, so it's going to be nice to see him coming back. Has not pitched in around 17 days. And he last pitched against the Angels, going 5 2/3, allowing 3 hits, walking 2, and striking out 2. We've seen him be able to stretch a little bit more every single time he's gone out there on the mound. We saw him only pitch around 4 or so innings to start off, and now he's going 5 or 6, and he's just been so efficient. And what's been nice to see with Michael Wacha is that, when you look at his strikeout totals, I mean, last game 2, the game before against Toronto 5, Tampa Bay 3. It's not like he's blowing guys away with his pitches. He's just finding ways to get outs through ground balls, through fly balls, and that's exactly what you want. And when you have a guy who is sporting an ERA of 138 over 26 innings, and you're only paying him $7 million, this is a great number 3 starter in your rotation right now. I'm very interested to see how he does against this Seattle Mariners team. We saw that the Mariners were able to get up on Rich Hill early. Michael Wacha needs to make sure that does not happen to him tomorrow. And the Sox offense is starting to roll a little bit. It's really nice to see. So they're going to be going up against, like I said, Robbie Ray, AL Cy Young winner last year. Over his last 7 games, has a 5.18 ERA, sporting a 4.62 ERA. Over 8 games started, has pitched 48 innings with 50 strikeouts. But as I mentioned, struggled mightily over his last few starts. Last start against the Mets allowed 5 earned runs. He did strike out 9 against the Phillies, only allowing 2 hits over 5 2/3 innings. He did allow 2 earned runs, but he did strike out 10. He does blow guys away, has some real good strikeout stuff. I mean, that's sort of what helped him win the Cy Young and be so effective last season. But the Red Sox bats are looking really hot. So I think this is the perfect time for them to face a guy like Robbie Ray, who we saw him last year, very efficient. If he's able to find that sort of groove going into tomorrow and for the rest of the season, we could be seeing a very scary Robbie Ray, but that's not what he's been doing consistently throughout this season. So we could see this Red Sox team sort of hopefully replicate what we saw them do in last night's game. And, hopefully those 3 guys, Devers, Bogey, Martinez, they can continue their great hitting action, be able to keep this lineup fluid hitting through inning to inning, and we can have this Red Sox team going on a 3-game winning streak. If this team is able to sweep, knock on wood, there's a wood thing right here. Trust me, I'm very superstitious with this team, so I'm just getting a little bit too excited. I'm sorry, but that would be really dope. That would be awesome. They've won their last 2 series. We're getting a little bit excited. We're having some fun. So it's going to be interesting to see what type of Robbie Ray the Red Sox batters are going to see tomorrow. Hopefully we can see the same exact Michael Wacha tomorrow. Hopefully that soreness doesn't really impact him too much on the mound tomorrow, and he can continue his great pitching ways. But going into our third and final segment, I'm going to do a little bit of a mental health minute. It's getting a little bit to the weekend, so we need to get a little bit into our mental health groove, get into our right mindset, and live a little bit more in the moment. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that in our third and final segment. But our partners at BetOnline, they continue to be your number one source for all your betting needs in sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's basketball playoffs, Major League Baseball scores, fights, and even next season's NFL futures. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. And you can even bet on the Seattle Mariners series, go series down the line, Red Sox Yankees, the Red Sox getting into the playoffs, the Red Sox winning the World Series. Like I said last night, might throw a few bucks on that with how this team is playing right now, especially with what Story did tonight. Maybe bet on Trevor Story hitting a home run tomorrow. Great idea. But BetOnline is your number one source to be able to do that sort of stuff. They do a great job of letting you know what you're spending your hard-earned money on. So BetOnline, it's where the game starts. So as I mentioned, going into our final segment, mental health minute. Pretty dope that it's episode 501. So be a little bit nicer to yourself. That's how I'm going to start off this mental health minute, because really, as I've said, over the last few days, take a second and pat yourself on the back. Be proud of how far you've come this year. Whether you made new relationships, maybe you're in a new relationship, starting a new job, even little things, just be nicer to yourself. We're so hard on ourselves each and every single day. We find the tiniest little things in whatever we do, and, sort of bully ourselves a little bit. And you are always your biggest critic, and your mind is sort of like a computer. And whatever you tell yourself, you convince yourself and you believe. And for instance, if you say, I am ugly, if you say, I am fat, you're going to believe that. And it brings a little bit of negative energy to you. And you get every second once. So, at least for myself, I'm trying to stay positive. I'm trying to stay in a good vibe. I'm trying to stay calm every second that I can. As tough as it is in this life, you got to do your best to be able to live every moment to the fullest and try and show up your best every single second that you can in this journey. So be a little bit nicer to yourself. Stop being your hardest critic. And something that, I learned from Mel Robbins, give yourself a high five when you wake up. When you wake up and look in the mirror, it's so easy for you to judge yourself. Like I mentioned, bully yourself and just nitpick the smallest little things that people on the outside don't even see. You're the only one that's seeing it. So be a little bit nice to yourself, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their day. Greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. Tomorrow, Lauren and I are going to be going to the Woo Sox game. That's one of the biggest reasons why I'm wearing my Woo Sox hat. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a special episode there, giving you guys a little bit of an update of what's going on in the farm and how guys are performing, what we think of some of the guys. I'll give you my reaction of what I think about Polar Park. First time there ever. So very, very excited. We also have a press pass. Hopefully we can interview somebody. That'd be pretty dope. If we can't, we have a press pass throughout the entire season. So that will definitely be coming. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, let's continue this ride. Let's continue this winning streak. Let's continue having some fun on the Locked On Red Sox podcast. Thank you guys so much for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call him Sully. He brings you his unique perspective on the major leagues past and present. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. Do you know what else is free? Following Locked On Red Sox on Twitter. It's LO_Red Sox. Also follow myself. It's at Jake Iggy. My co-host Lauren. Lauren with 4 R's. We greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. Really, it does mean the world to us, and all the nice messages, everything that was said, after our 500th episode was posted, really does mean the world. We greatly appreciate everybody taking this any time that they do to listen to this podcast. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Can't wait for this next week of Red Sox baseball. Hopefully, we can continue these wins. We're going to continue having fun on this podcast Monday through Friday. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on whatever audio platform that you're listening to. As we end it, as always, let's go Sox. Peace.